let's go down to Tampa now as the Phillies are getting ready to take on the Rays tonight. The Phillies have won 5 out of 6 on this homestand, and they've got this Rays team that Frank Klose is 3-9. So last week we spoke, the Phillies, it was gloom and doom. The manager had to go. He was on the hot seat. They won 5 out of 6. They're over 500. The vibes feel pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that there's the series kind of sets it up for the Phillies to even get a little bit further to increase that vibe with playing a Rays team that just doesn't seem to have a lot of bullets this year.
Yeah, and give us a little recap of what you liked, what you saw from this team on the homestand here that has this team playing some good baseball.
Well, I really liked what I saw from the offense, and I really think that the lineup really is starting to gel. I think that the way that it's set up with the number 2 hitter kind of being Carlos Santana, being that high impact bat, with a high with a high on base guy ahead of him and Cesar Hernandez really does set it up nicely. And I'm really kind of sold on the idea of the number 2 hitter sort of being the best hitter in the lineup because, I've been old school in a lot of ways. I always thought that the number 3 hitter is supposed to be the best one and the number 2 hitter is supposed to move the runner. But there's no need to move the runner when you have Carlos Santana behind Cesar Hernandez. And that's really set them up very, very, very nicely.
Frank, speaking on the lineup, tonight's lineup, of course, they have the DH in there, too. Hernandez, Santana, Herrera, Hoskins, Nick Williams will DH, Kingery, Altair, Alfaro, and Crawford. Is that a lineup poised to break out at Tropicana Field?
Yeah, I think so. And this is one of those instances we mentioned when we looked at juggling those extra outfielders, with Nick Williams able to play as your DH, although a lot of people seem to be surprised that Hoskins is not the DH and Williams at his natural position in left field. But yeah, you really get a chance to get all the guys into the lineup, and without the pitcher hitting, maybe this will even provide a little bit more offense than you're used to. And I think it's good that you can get both Williams and Altair in there because Altair, he's off to a little bit of a rough start. He had that nice grand slam. Hopefully that helped him get out of his little opening slump, and hopefully he'll get some hits tonight in the series because he's probably going to play all 3.
It looks like they're going to get some bullpen help back soon, too. There's an update on Tommy Hunter or Pat Neshek.
Yeah, being down here, I didn't get the latest yet, but I knew they were close. The news on Neshek did look good. It was not the worst case scenario that people feared, and Hunter I knew was moving along soon. So hopefully we won't see those blow-ups like we saw earlier in the season because you've got 2 veteran right-handed arms here who can come in and calm down a situation that a young arm might not be prepared to handle.
Hey, Frank Klose is in Tampa for Phillies and Rays, and tonight on the mound is Vince Velasquez. Over the last 8 games, Philly starters, Frank, 2.87 ERA, 49 strikeouts in 47 innings pitched. Opponents hitting just 220 against them. So it seems like the rotation has really settled in. You got Pivetta as well. I mean, he pitched outstanding the other day. So they have really got a lot from their starting rotation.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that they needed right now was that they needed them to go innings. What they really couldn't afford is to have some short outings from their starters, and we saw just how disastrous that was in the early going when you had some of the younger guys only lasting three innings, or in the case of Velasquez, that first start 2 2/3. Especially with missing your veterans in the bullpen, that just set him up for disaster. So I think it was even good that even though Ben Lively he gave up 5 runs in that last start, he still gave them 6. He really gutted it out and gave them 6 innings. And I think if you're not asking too much of your bullpen, then you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, Frank. We talked earlier too about Kingery before the season started, and it was, hey, we thought they were going to send him down and waiting the 2 weeks to bring him up, and we said even if he wins you 2 or 3 or 4 games, and that's the difference of you not making the playoffs at the end of the year, you'd be kicking yourself. Well, they ended up signing him to that deal, and sure enough, how many games would you say that Kingery has helped them win?
It's funny. I tweeted this the other night when he had that walk-off sacrifice fly. Kingery might have already won them 2 games. He can't get all the credit for that grand slam because they were up a run, but I suppose. But you could argue that he has already helped them win 2 games that they might not have otherwise won already. And that date, which would have been the date that he would have been eligible to come up, is today. So those 2 wins, when it comes down to the end, it might make all the difference in the world. And it's a really good thing that the Phillies came up with their 25 best instead of playing the roster game.
Frank, are stolen bases becoming cool again? I mean, the Phillies are stealing bases, and then those guys come around and score, and they're becoming a running team.
Well, one of the things that I think really frustrated me to watch this Phillies team that was Cesar Hernandez. Now, Cesar Hernandez, it seemed to me when I watched Hernandez in the past, he always had a lot of speed on the base pass, but he would try to steal a base once in a while. He would get caught stealing, and then it was like he just gave up for the next 4 weeks trying. So I really think it's been a good thing that Jose Flores, as the base running coach and the first base coach, he really made a point of taking advantage of those opportunities to steal bases. Now, a couple times they've gotten tripped up and looked silly, but it's a process of development. I mean, I really felt that the running game was really underutilized the last couple of years, especially when your leadoff hitter has the speed Hernandez has. Now, I think a lot of people got on him early last year because of his because he looked pretty bad on some of those bases where he was unsuccessful stealing. But he remains he's got speed, and when your leadoff hitter is getting on at the clip that Hernandez is, and he's not stealing bases, that's a real detriment to your offense. So now it kind of sets him up so that Hernandez is getting on base as he usually does at a high rate, and when you have somebody behind him like Santana, Hernandez, if he walks, it becomes a double, and then he's in scoring position, and then you have your best bat in terms of, I would say your best veteran batting right behind him, and what do you know, that it's leading to a lot more offense. So really that running game, that those stolen bases are so important, especially now that they have way more contact hitters. It really will lead to a lot more because every single or walk can automatically become a double.
Hey, Frank, the stat that I really like, for as much as Kapler got lambasted really his first week here, if this stat holds true, I love the fact that this team has become very patient at the plate. They lead the league in pitches seen. They take pitches. They work the pitcher. It's something that kids aren't being taught today, but this Phillies team is doing it, and they're scoring a lot of runs, and they've been winning because of it. And you're seeing more teams, the Bostons, you're seeing a lot more teams go back to being patient and working those pitchers.
Yeah, I remember this is a game now where the starter does not go more than 100 pitches. They rarely, which usually means they don't go beyond 6 innings very often. So if you're an opposing team and you can really get that starting pitcher through their 100 pitches a lot quicker, well, guess what? Then you're at a significant advantage among the other teams. And so what the Phillies have been doing is, even when they have a decent starter on the other side, remember Homer Bailey the other night against the Phillies? He was kind of no-hitting them up until I think it was the 6th inning. He was having a very nice game, but if they can still work some of those counts, even though they're not getting hit, then eventually Bailey leaves the game, and what do you know? The Phillies win 6-1.
Frank, Phillies and the Rays down there in Tampa, you will be amongst, 78 people?
No, this is going to be a Phillies home game. Lots of people flying down to Florida. I mean, after all, who wouldn't want to come right back, right? So once you've been at spring training and you have this opportunity to come right back to the Clearwater area, why not do it?
Love it.
Between the natives that like the Phillies, who are used to Philly spring training and watching the Threshers, and the people flying down here, this is going to be like a Phillies home game. And I will say it's a real shame because the Threshers are giving away a Reese Hoskins bobblehead tonight on the same night that the Phillies are in town. I wish they had planned that a little bit better.
Well, I thought a couple times about going down there with you, but I'm stuck here. Flyers tonight, Sixers tonight, Flyers Sunday, Sixers Monday. I'll have to settle for that. Frank Klose is in
one of my
Tampa.
favorite times of year.
By the way, did you stop at the Clearwater Bait House?
I haven't been there yet. I only flew in this morning, so
Okay.
I really do hope to get there for lunch tomorrow.
All right, my man. Enjoy the games this
Yep,
weekend.
have fun, Frank. Good stuff.
Thank you.